Salam and good afternoon. Welcome to Making Poetry in Real Time with Artists in the UAE, pARTicipate, part of the Smithsonian Folklife Festival Beyond the Mall. We are so excited that you're here with us today and hope that you are ready to be a part of today's show. Real-time captioning and ASL interpretation are being provided for today's program. To access these services, please follow the links in the comments below. We recommend that they be open in a separate browser window or on a separate device alongside this page to view the program simultaneously. My name is Rebecca Fenton, and along with my colleague, Michelle Bambling, I am a co-curator of the United Arab Emirates program here at the Folklife Festival. For those who aren't familiar, the UAE is a relatively small but very vibrant nation located in the Middle East. Today's event is a collaboration with Rooftop Rhythms and the UAE program, which is supported by the UAE Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, the UAE Ministry of Culture and Knowledge Development, and the UAE Embassy in Washington. If you don't know the festival, I encourage you to check out our website, festival.si.edu, to learn about our programs, educational resources, and more. And now we present pARTicipate.
As poets, it is our innate calling to speak our individual truths as well as those of our communities and the world at large. Our responsibility as artists is not only to speak loudly and clearly, but also to listen and understand issues which pervade the past and present.
By using our voices and ears, we hope to be on the side of humanity, which strives for a future that offers equity, equality, and justice for each and every person.
As UAE-based artists, we are proud that this country and its leaders uphold an environment of tolerance and inclusion in which residents and citizens alike share a collective sense of safety and security.
Currently, America is reeling from yet another Black life lost to police brutality on an unarmed person. We mourn the loss of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and so many others, and stand in solidarity with any persecuted people suffering from across the world. Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dorian Paul Rogers, and I'm the founder of Rooftop Rhythms. We started out as an initiative to promote performing arts, specifically performance poetry, back in 2012. And we've been hosting a monthly poetry open mic for 8 years. We actually just completed our 8th season. A quick shout out to the Art Center at NYU Abu Dhabi, our partner, and our official supporter, the U.S. Embassy Abu Dhabi. And also in 2014, we started our all Arabic poetry open mic. And another quick shout out to our partner for that event, La Matna, as well as the official support of the U.S. Embassy Abu Dhabi again. I'm a poet, an educator, an arts director, and an event curator. And I'm going to introduce the other artists right now. And first, we'll introduce Miss Danabelle Gutierrez, originally from the Philippines and currently based in the UAE. Also, Anis, originally from Egypt and currently based in the UAE. And finally, Jaysus Zain, originally from Sudan by way of Libya and the UK, also in the UAE. We're proud to represent this beautiful country for today's event, pARTicipate. And welcome to pARTicipate. Today, we will compose poetry live in this interactive session. We'll also perform for you the poems that we created with your assistance. We invite you, our virtual audience, to contribute words and ideas from home and follow along as these poets create brand new works for the Smithsonian Folklife Festival. All you have to do is type words in the comment section related to this festival's theme, which is cultural knowledge and the environment. Related words like community and climate, journeys, and the power of place, and more. So here's the call to action right now. Share this link with your friends. We want everyone to participate for the next 20 minutes. That's all we have. Add some words in the comment box below. As we work, when you hear your word come up, let us see some hand emojis. You can wave, or some thumbs up of various complexions. So are you ready? 20 minutes start now. Let's go, artists. And while we're waiting for our first word, let's briefly introduce ourselves. I'll be quiet. Stop the introduction maybe when you see a word so that you can start your brainstorm. But Danabelle, let's start with you. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself? How long have you been in the UAE?
I've been here for about 16 years now. Wow. Been a while. But yeah, okay. UAE is home.
All right, wow. So we need to pause for the cause. We have a word, and it is neo-colonialism. Ooh.
Big word.
All right, neo-colonialism. All right. And Danabelle, how long have you been writing?
I've been writing since I was a kid, I guess. But like seriously, maybe about 10 years now.
Okay. And your full-time job? Are you a full-time poet?
Oh, I'd like to be. But currently I have to be on the phone. And I have to be at the reception desk at a company here.
Okay, we'll get to the next artist introduction shortly, but the words are starting to come in more quickly. So we have conversation. And we have songs. So, Jaysus and Niece, before we introduce you guys, is anybody thinking anything right now? I know these are a lot of random words. This is a big challenge for us. So, is anyone getting any ideas right now? Any direction that you like to go in, Jaysus?
Man,
Or are you just kind of collecting the words, Jaysus?
I'm kind of collecting the words right now, but I love the fact that we started with a big word.
I'm loving conversation. I'm loving conversation over my end. That sounds like a pretty good bedrock to me.
Okay. So far, we have conversation, song. What about you, Anise or Danabelle? Are you feeling a direction right now, or are you just kind of trying to collect the words?
I'm trying to collect the words, but I've got one line. It says, "Let me sing a song about neocolonialism."
Wow.
Endurance. These are coming in fast, guys.
Yeah, I think we're going to focus on the words that come up initially on our screen. So far, I believe we've gotten to song.
I'm loving the silence. It means everybody is.
We're thinking.
Jaysus, I know that you focus also a lot on kind of hip hop style poetry. Are you trying to start rhyming words, or how are you? Right now, you're just staring at me. Or what are you doing right now?
Right now,
I know you got some magic up your sleeve.
Yeah, man, I'm just trying to do like the free thought, and at the same time try to find, I'm gonna make metaphors and similes and all that magic.
Okay. So I'm trying to focus on, let's keep the theme in mind, which is, does anybody remember the theme?
Environment.
Cultural knowledge and environment. Yeah. So I'm going to play on that a little bit with the warm wind clue. I'm going to play on that a little bit with the palm trees. So I think I'm going to play with, I know it sounds simple. It may get a little deeper in a minute, but I'm going to talk about there's a warm wind. Somebody give me a verb. There's a warm wind flowing through the palm.
Swishes.
Dancing.
I like that. Okay. And is that like a frond? A palm frond?
Palm frond.
Palm
leaf.
Oh, okay, the palm leaf. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
I like fond, actually.
Thank you for that line. I will not credit you all for that line. And if you're just joining us, we just want to remind you what we're doing here. We're creating poetry for you live right now. So if you're just joining, please give us some ideas. This is a participatory session. So you're going to give us some words, and we have about 16 minutes left to write poems for you live. We're going to perform those at the end of our 20 minutes. Don't judge us too much. We're just trying to give you a little feel for the writing process. So please contribute words related to the topic at hand. You can think about words such as community, climate, journeys, the power of place, and more. So please add your words. When we say your word, you can give us some type of hand emoji to let us know that we said your word. So let's look at some of the other words we have that just came in. My wife just gave us the word challenge. You are not a challenge, wife. You are very easy to deal with. We have inclusion. They're coming in fast. We're asking our moderators, don't be so hard on us. Please spread the words out maybe to every 20 seconds.
Slow down.
Please. Okay, so we also have autonomy that just came in. You can also, guys, look in our chat area at some of the other words. Guys, I think I'm going to play on that warm wind that's floating. You remember I just said the warm wind's floating through the palm. I'm going to say I'm going to give I think I'm going to give an image of a neighbor's, since our word is conversation, I'm going to say like a neighbor's conversation kind of wafts. Is that a good word? Wafts? Maybe wafts.
It's something that I associate with an aroma or a.
Yeah, and so I actually want to creatively associate conversation, as I know it doesn't traditionally waft, but thank you, Anish. Yeah, you're right. Literally, it's an aroma. So I'm going to play on that and say that it kind of wafts into my kitchen door, the sliding door, and then maybe I can start thinking about how conversation is important with cultural knowledge and environment. So it looks like I'm starting to think more about like dialogue and the importance of communities working together and interacting. Is anybody getting a first line so far?
Yeah, I think I got one.
Yeah.
Or do I leave it until the last?
You want to share? Yeah, you want to share your line? Maybe we can assist you in working through it a little bit.
All right. Just 1 second. Let me edit this.
Okay, we just have a new word that came in, breathe. That's a very powerful word with what's going on currently. So thank you for that.
So the endurance of a soul can only last as long as conversation, not ego competition posing as virtue when it booms loud enough to sound like neo-colonialism.
Wow. Are you sure you didn't write that before this session? That was really good.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Anybody else have a first line that they like?
I'm so tempted to Google neocolonialism.
I think you totally should. There's no rule against. There's no rule against Googling a word.
Unless somebody wants to explain it. Like,
If the audience would kindly give us a
I think, Danabelle, I think you should Google it. That's your right to do so, because we're not here to define it for you. I'm going to ask the moderators if you can please let us know if you could copy and paste the words that have been shared on the screen only so far, so that we can make sure we've covered all of the words. Please copy and paste the words that have been shared on the screen, just so we don't miss any so far. Guys, let me know if I have most of the words so far. Neocolonialism, endurance, united, conversation, song, warm wind, challenge, inclusion, sandstorm, thunder, peace, nourish, breathe, live, bridge, identity. Are those most of the ones that you have as well?
Yeah.
And I think we have, okay, thank you so much, Sabrina. Yes, I have most of those words. If you guys look in the chat area, poets, you'll see the words that have been read so far. Thank you. I believe we've also reached our 15-minute mark. So I'm going to stop talking briefly while Jaysus tells us a little bit more about himself.
Jaysus is thinking.
Jaysus, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Jaysus Zain. I'm an educator first, human, even more before that. Human, extraterrestrial human, educator, poet, and a lot of fun stuff.
Oh, okay.
That's
And what about you? What about you, Anish? Jaysus has done a lot for our community. He's being very humble today. So thank you. And Anish, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
So I am a producer. Originally, I started as a videographer, beginning with documenting the spoken word scene in the UAE, and I slowly transitioned to spoken word, to become a spoken word artist. And that's me in a nutshell.
All right, thank you. Okay, we have a new word that came up. We have fight the power. We also have humanity, ethics, sustainability, nourish, thunder, And the last word recently, thank you, Betty Balanis, nourish, and justice. I'm falling behind on the writing. So, Jaysus, when you get a chance in the next minute, could you give us, if you want to share one of the lines that you like so far from what you've written?
I don't know why, but the this is going a bit dark, so I'm trying to make it more light.
Danabelle, as we're waiting for Jaysus, do you have another line that any word? You don't have to share a line if you don't want, but maybe a word that you're struggling with that you may want a little assistance from us, or that you really like, anything that you're thinking about. We want to think out loud a little bit.
So far, I changed the first line, and I'm still unlike my 2 lines. So it says, I'm inspired to create a lyric united. Walk away from neo-colonialism. Say, binayako. Think meaning, think action.
Wow, thank you. I wish I was as good as you guys.
I'm struggling, Dorian.
That's okay.
Man, at least you can last more than a cipher. I can't last 10 seconds.
I'm like trying to find the link to all the words, and it's just like it's too many words.
No, you got this. You're doing great. All right. I have something that I like so far. As I said, that my neighbor's conversation wafts in my kitchen door. I'm personifying the wind, and I say the wind breathes and gasps, tired from last night's sandstorm.
Oh,
I'm the only one that likes that. Okay, I thought that was.
Ooh, no, I like that.
That's one way to lead. All right.
they told me
Okay,
words may break my bones, but forgot to mention it shatters your dreams. Hope for justice in my horizon as life dances with me.
Yo, could you repeat that?
I said they told me words may break my bones, but forgot to mention it shatters your dreams.
Slow down, bro. Slow down.
Wait. Are you writing that? What are you?
I think he wants you to slow down a little
bit. They told me words may break my bones, but forgot to mention it shatters your dreams. Hope for justice in my horizon as life dances with me. Searching for connectivity beyond black squares in my feed.
Ooh.
Very beautiful. Thank you. Let me know if I'm looking down, if you guys see the time pop up. I think we're going to get close to 10-minute mark in a minute. So just let me know if you see it in case I miss it. If you're just joining us, guys, we're very excited to have you. This is a participatory writing session. So we're asking people in the crowd to keep giving us words. We've gotten a lot of great words so far for the festival's theme, which is cultural knowledge and the environment. And so we want words related to that topic, which could be words like the amazing words you've shared so far, like community, climate, journeys, power of place. We're going to use your words that you leave in the comment section. And in about 10 to 15 minutes, we'll start performing poetry that we are writing live with your help. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you to the Smithsonian Folklife Festival. Okay, so can you all hear me?
Yep.
So since I'm in this kitchen, I started about thinking about that I'm cooking. I guess that's the natural train of thought. So I said the oven opens its mouth wide to welcome my dish of the night, pan-seared colonialism. And then I'm going to start using some of these words like over-seasoned with justice. You see, so I'm going to. Okay.
I see you.
You can use condiments, words as condiments, essentially.
Okay, thank you for that idea. And so for artists out there or people who think that they like to become a poet, you got to like your poetry more than everybody else. Did you see that I was like, okay, because you got to believe in your
really good. All right. I guess not.
Confidence is a big part of it. Okay. So everybody, I just want to share a little bit more about the process, which is hard as we're trying to write. Some poets out there, brainstorm. And so when I have enough time, I like to use like a Venn diagram, for example. If I'm talking about, let's say I have a poem called Love Stinks. So maybe in one of the circles, I'll talk about literal ways that love can stink. For example, waking up in the morning and someone has a bad breath. And then I'll juxtapose that with maybe love stinking figuratively, like when you're not getting along and you're arguing, but neither person wants to resolve the situation. So sometimes we brainstorm. In a session like this, basically, I only have time for stream of consciousness. So basically, I'm going with a word that I like a lot, and I'm just trying to see where it takes me. Does anybody want to talk briefly about their process? Before we do that, some other great words that have come up: jinx, light, toleration, and refuge. Also, earthquake. Thank you for those words. Can anybody else tell me a little bit about their process?
So for me, I'm a big fan of a quote that's usually attributed to Albert Einstein, which is creativity is all about hiding your sources, and that means, to me, that means a lot of research and a lot of reading involved and a lot of inspiration involved. So I imagine, for example, there's a poet whom I continuously fail to pronounce his name, unfortunately, but he's one of my favorites. His name is, I think, is Daniel Betty. If I'm Daniel Betty. For example, I would say, what would Daniel Betty say in his voice if he were speaking with my thoughts? So that's kind of a psychological play that I make. If Daniel Betty had carried my ideals, what would he say? So that's one way of looking at it.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Just give me a few minutes. The way I do it again is I usually go for like a free thought type of thing, and I would write for like the first 10 minutes without thinking of why I'm writing this or does it even make sense, and then go back to it and kind of like start as Muhammad said, start hiding certain facts within, hidden in plain sight, or as we call it. And then that for me makes a poem.
Has anybody seen the 10-minute mark come just yet, or am I a little ahead of the game? Has it already come?
Oh, here it is.
Here we go.
Well, all right.
Okay,
10 minutes,
pressure.
10 minutes remaining. So for the nervous people, that's okay. I'm going to probably spend about 5 more minutes writing, and then I need about 5 minutes to decipher my own writing. Okay? So feel free to keep words coming in. We have some more beautiful words. Thank you for those people giving us words related to cultural knowledge and environment. We have canvas. Thank you for the word canvas. We also have rainbow. That's such a beautiful word with many meanings. Footprint. We also have sanctuary.
Is it just me, or is your notes looking like this too? Like, I'm writing, but I don't know if I can read it later.
That's okay. Maybe you take the last 3 minutes. You could take the last 3 minutes to kind of mark it up, maybe mark it and say, this is what I want, a number one next to this phrase, or, or you can be the last poet to perform, and that'll give you a chance to kind of put your ideas together. It is not an easy task. Usually we have like 40 minutes to write, but we accept all challenges, Smithsonian Folklife Festival. All right, so let me read a couple. No, we don't. And try to use every word, everyone. So that's going to be the hard part. If you're just joining us, please give us some words related to cultural knowledge and the environment, which is the theme of this year's Smithsonian Folklife Festival. And we're taking your ideas. You will not get credit for them in our poems. No, I'm joking. We'll give everyone credit. And we're going to be writing poems and performing them in the next few minutes based on the words you've given us. Thank you for those words. Don't forget, when we say your word during our performance, please leave a hand emoji, like a waving hand or a thumbs up. When we say your word, poets try to underline that word if you're using one of the words, just so you give it a little more emphasis. Maybe you pause when you say that word for a second, or say it a little more loudly so the audience can hear the word that they gave us. We have a great question that has come in for you artists who focus on performance and writing. For those of you that make music in this session or publish books, do you approach differently the writing process than the performance of poetry? Are these two different processes, as we call them, page versus stage? Can anybody speak on that briefly?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Okay, so basically for poets who focus on writing or making music, how is that approach to that process, that creative process, how is that different than kind of the performance poetry or the performance style of work? So I know Jaysus is a musician, and I know Danabelle has published some of her work. Anis, I know you do podcasts as well. So does anybody want to share about that briefly? And before you do, let's shout out a few more of the words: perspective, generations, groundswell, and repair. Jaysus, what's your process like when it comes to making music versus kind of the performance process?
I think when it comes to the whole page and stage part, as more of like being very conscious with the timing, the pauses, different pauses during the performance. All of that is kind of like, when I write it, I'm like, here is a good part to kind of like stay quiet, or here is a good part to kind of like lower my voice, or so I think very consciously when it comes to that. But when it comes to writing for like a book, I tend to focus on more of kind of like painting a scene and playing with that imaginary energy, if I may call it.
And Danabelle, I know you also focus on page poetry.
I do.
How is that process different from stage? Like, do you write the same work and it translates to performance, or do you notice that like your page poetry may sometimes be different than your performance work?
I veer away from reading some of my work that's for the page because it just doesn't translate well on the stage. But I don't mainly write for the stage because I get shy. I'm more of I like to read. I like people to read it kind of thing.
Right. And Anise, did you have any thoughts on that? The making music or the publishing side versus how you approach the performance side? Is that in your?
In all honesty, writing for me is a necessary prerequisite to everything that I do, whether it's film or podcast or whatnot. I need to have the entire image of whatever it is that I have, and beginning, middle, and end on paper in some form before I even begin to produce what it is. So, yeah, really anything that I say otherwise will be pretty much like what Jaysus said just a couple of minutes ago.
Okay, we have Suzanne Mo. Thank you. She gave us that important word, freedom. Thank you for that word. I'm going to add that over to my pan-seared colonialism that I'm making in my oven. So I'm going to put freedom there, and resilience I'm going to add over there.
Dorian's poem is making me hungry.
Thank you, Pablo, for resilience. Can anybody do anything with the word trail? That's kind of a general word, but it's related to environment. I think that's a cool word because usually a trail is kind of off. Thank you, Christina. Trail usually is something like off of the main road. Sometimes it's a place of solace. Can anybody think of a place to fit the word trail?
I think you can use it as a verb too, right? I'm trailing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trailblazing.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I think I have some direction here. I'm pretty confident that this will not be a garbage poem. I'm pretty confident.
I have some direction to a kind of poetry I swore I'd never write, but here it is.
Oh.
Existentialism. It kind of sounds like an existential piece. But
we also have a good question that came in on today's poems that you all are writing. Are you imagining the UAE environment or someplace else? So for me, I'm imagining my kitchen as the setting and kind of being quarantined a little bit, deciding to stay in because of the COVID situation and feeling like I want to get out and experience humanity and be a part of the conversations that are going on with my neighbors. So how about you? Are you all focused in maybe a fictional environment, the UAE? Where is your setting of your poem? Anybody?
For me, it's the general. It's when we interact with each other on certain topics that we may differ. Sometimes we may yell at each other rather than really talk to one another, and that's the feeling that sort of is sort of empowering the poem that I'm writing right now. Okay,
Jaysus, what's your environment?
Definitely imaginative. Definitely something that we, it's kind of like something that I hope for humanity. A better space.
Okay. All right. What about you, Danabelle?
I think the speaker of my poem is inside herself, and she's thinking out loud. She's going on she's writing about writing. I say she like it's not me.
That's okay. So are you in the UAE though? Are you do you know where you are? Are you kind of
she's in her head. She's in her head.
Okay. Wherever that is, right?
Yes. Does anybody know how much time we got?
So I think we have 5 minutes. 5 minutes remaining. So now it gets interesting. I want you all to scroll up. Our moderators have given us all the words. Please try your best. It's okay if you don't get all of them. I believe all 4 of us will collectively be able to say everyone's word, even if each of us don't have it in all of our poems. So someone said, Anise, empowering the power. That's a beautiful image. I don't know if you mentioned that. I didn't hear it. Did you say that, Anise? Empowering the power? You said that?
Empowering the poem, yeah.
Empowering the poem. Someone said that's a very powerful statement. So great job on that. We have another complicated, these are just supposed to be words, but somebody gave us the word hyphenated human. Now, maybe they didn't put those together. Oh, yes, they did. Our good friend, Christine Jean Blaine.
Yes, she's watching. Hey,
Christine, you cheated, Christine. It's only supposed to be one word, but she's a very amazing, she's an amazing poet. So she challenged us with hyphenated human. Okay. All right. So I'm going to be quiet for the last 3 minutes to try to bring some sense to my poem. If anybody wants to share a line before we get ready to perform. Is anybody really confident with their work? Are you volunteering to go first when we're ready to start? Is anybody ready to go first when we start? Jaysus, do you have something that you're comfortable with, Jaysus? Oh, Anise? Okay.
Sure.
Anise is willing to go first. Okay. So let's start thinking about who's willing to go second. And as we finish, here are some words one more time. We're going to repeat some of the words. Please leave us a hands up in the conversation if we say your word. Neocolonialism, conversation, song, meaning, action, inspire, create, unite, warm wind, endurance, authenticity, power, rhythm, feed, groove, curiosity, reconnect, horizon, dancing, aurora, resonate, connectivity, challenge, fight the power, humanity, ethics, sustainability, autonomy, inclusion, change, live, bridge, identity, sandstorm, thunder, peace, nourish, earth, justice, reform, earthquake, light, toleration, refuge, canvas, rainbow, footprints, sanctuary.
Time has ended. Has it?
We're getting a lot of thumbs up. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you, Diane.
One minute remaining.
Oh,
1
no.
One minute remaining. Time's up.
Time is up. All right. So let's try to figure out an order. I did a lot of talking, so please bear with me if my poem sounds fragmented. But
Same.
20 minutes is very difficult. So audience, please be patient. Keep in mind that everything we share with you has been created in 20 minutes. And you all gave us some deep words. The first time we did this in person, we had a lot of children and they were like, icicle, popcorn. And so it was much easier. But when you give me like transcendentalism, okay, that's going to be a little harder. But we're up for the challenge, as I said. We shared a lot of the amazing words you gave us. So thank you so much for joining us to help us create this poem for pARTicipate. And if you like this event, please leave some comments about your thoughts as well, okay? So let's go ahead and try to figure out an order of performance. And Anise is the first volunteer. Thank you so much, Anise. Okay, who wants to go second?
I don't mind. Mine's like really short, so.
Okay. We'll get you to read it 2 times. That's okay. All right. So we'll have Anise first. We'll have Danabelle second, and Jaysus. Since I talk the most, can I go last?
Okay, I'll go third.
All right. Jaysus, Zain third, and Anise fourth. Poets, again, when you say a word that was given to you by the crowd, just try to give a little more emphasis to that word so that audience member can give us an emoji. And even when you give an emoji, we still want you to stand up in your house and say, that's my word. So everybody thinks you're crazy, okay? All right, Anise, everybody, we're now going to treat this like an open mic. Everybody in the virtual world, no matter where you are, in Washington, D.C., in New York City, in Abu Dhabi, in LA, and in Dubai, in Europe, we want you to snap your fingers right now, and we're going to take the ideas you've given us, and we're going to put them into poems that we've created for you right now. Welcome to the open mic stage, the Smithsonian Folklife Festival open mic stage. We have Anise.
Hey. Let's go. I know him.
All right. The endurance of a soul can only last as long as conversation, not ego competition posing as virtue when it booms to sound loud enough like neo-colonialism. Today, we fight the power, forgetting the footprints that took us here, groveling for authenticity in an identity sandstorm. Today, peace is a sustainable lie that sells. They push us into a labyrinth posing as a sanctuary, a construct made up of hyphenated humans.
What?
Yo.
What? Okay, guys, I gotta go to the. I gotta
Yeah,
say, I have to go to.
we have something to do. Okay.
Maybe I want to go last now.
Very good, Anise.
Good job.
Anise, that was short and sweet. So short and sweet. I want that one more time, if you can, a little more slowly, please. Thank you for sharing. That's a very beautiful poem, and we want to hear it one more time.
The endurance of a soul can only last as long as conversation, not ego competition posing as virtue when it booms to sound loud enough like neo-colonialism. Today, we fight the power, forgetting the footprints that took us here, groveling for authenticity in an identity sandstorm. Today, peace is a sustainable lie that sells. They push us into a labyrinth posing as a sanctuary, a construct made up of hyphenated humans.
What?
Thank you. Let us know what you think about. Let us know what you think about that. If he said your word,
Notebook
drop the notebook. If he said your word, please give us a comment on what you think about what he was able to do with your word. We appreciate all constructive critique. Thank you, Madia L, with the fire symbols. Abir, thank you. How are you? He's another talented poet in our scene. Thank you, Yuri, for your positive feedback. Great job, Anise. Thank you, Sophia, as well. All right, so we're going to keep it going. Christine, thank you for the yes. All right.
Yeah.
Danabelle, everybody, that was a niece coming from where he's from. And now we're going to clap for the next artist to our virtual stage is Danabelle Gutierrez.
I'm inspired to create a lyric united. Walk away from neo-colonialism, say, Binayako, yes, I'm Filipina. Think meaning, think action, spark conversation about power, authenticity as this warm wind dances across the desert horizon, like the way the aurora dances in the north. Wonder as I scribble these verses incoherent, if it resonates, as the rhythm attempts to reconnect, feeds into the groove, challenges my curiosity as perspectives, earthquake onto my blank canvas. Footprints on the freedom trail, hyphenated human, repairing generations and seeking refuge in the sanctuary of the written word.
What? Hey, guys, I got an appointment. That
I gotta go. I think we're late for our meeting.
Remember that thing that we have to go? Like, we gotta do.
I got it.
I love these powerful short poems. We want it one more time. One more time.
One more time.
One more time.
Please share again with us.
All right. I'm inspired to create a lyric united. Walk away from neo-colonialism, say, Binayako, yes, I'm Filipina. Think meaning, think action, spark conversation about power, authenticity as this warm wind dances across this desert horizon, the way the aurora dances in the north. Wonder as I scribble these verses incoherent, if it resonates, as the rhythm attempts to reconnect, feeds into the groove, challenges my curiosity as perspectives, earthquake onto my blank canvas, footprints on the freedom trail, this hyphenated human repairing generations and seeking refuge in the sanctuary of the written word.
Wow. Thank you, Jaysus. Jaysus is blown away over here. Thank you, Anise and Danabelle. What a great start. And thank you to all the positive comments we're getting. I think they are doing an amazing job. These are great poems in of themselves. But the fact that you are writing them in 20 minutes is very impressive. So thank you for doing this with us, poets. Christina Solis said, Filipina. Okay.
Yes.
Christine Jean Blaine says, that's my sister. And Ray says, wow, amazing. Thank you, Ray, for that. Also, thank you, Taraya Middleton. And now I believe we're ready for Jaysus. Zain, please snap Jaysus to the virtual stage.
Yo.
Expo 2020.
Oof. Okay. Word. Human. Definition. Can we all agree that it's time for a conversation? Can we all agree that our power is in our unity? When did humanity lose its meaning? Maybe within the sandstorm of negativity. Cold winter breeze, words don't come with ease when it comes to peace. They told me words may break my bones, but forgot to mention it shatters your dreams. Hope for justice in my horizon as life dances with me. Searching for connectivity beyond black squares in my feed, neo-colonialism all around me. But Earth has always been stronger, it seems. Canvas of last year's theme, tolerance in every heartbeat. I'll share my sunlight if you share your rainbow with me. Footprints of optimism paint tomorrow's reality. Fight the power until the power is handed to we. Goddesses of a new dawn, aurora weaving this tapestry. Together, so holy, festival holy, with rhythms of ancestry, wave of authenticity, sanctuary is in my identity, pure souls like you and me, inclusion, my serenity, repair us one, reimagined freedom, hyphenated human.
Wow.
What?
Hey, listen, you just copy pasted some of your old poems, and you just
Yeah.
That's exactly what I. That's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did.
All right. I see you, Jason.
You caught me. You caught me.
You're getting a lot of love coming in from social media. Jaysus, would you care to share that one more time, or is that a one-hitter quitter?
I mean, like, it's a one-hit wonder, man. One-hit wonder. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it again.
Okay.
I said, human. Word. Human. Definition. Can we all agree that it's time for a conversation? Can we all agree that our power is in our unity? When did humanity lose its meaning? Maybe within this sandstorm of negativity, cold winter breeze, words don't come with ease when it comes to peace. They told me words may break my bones, but forgot to mention it shatters your dreams. Hope for justice in my horizon as life dances with me. Searching for connectivity beyond black squares in my feed. Neo-colonialism all around me. But Earth has always been stronger, it seems. Canvas of last year's theme, tolerance in every heartbeat. I'll share my sunlight if you share your rainbow with me. Footprints of optimism paint tomorrow's reality. Fight the power until the power is handed to we. Goddesses of a new dawn, aurora weaving this tapestry. Together so holy, festival, holy, with rhythms of ancestry, wave of authenticity, sanctuary in my identity, pure souls like you and me, inclusion, my serenity, repair us one, reimagined freedom, hyphenated human.
Wow. Thank you for that. Thank you. All right, we're getting some good feedback coming in. Thank you, Clive and Naima.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to introduce me?
Okay.
You go ahead.
Okay.
You got this.
Coming to the stage, the lyrically acclaimed, aka the godfather of spoken word, the UAE and the GCC and the MENA region. Dr. Dorian, aka Paul D. Rogers.
Thank you. All right, here we go. There is a warm wind that dances through the palm leaves. My neighbor's conversation wafts in the kitchen door. He says something about coucherie, or was that carrot tea? The wind breathes and gasps, tired from last night's sandstorm. It coughs microscopic glass and ground seashells. It breathes and then stops, a moment of silence for the breaths that have stopped and can no longer go any further. I hear thunder in my belly. The lightning reaches its fingertips to the front of my tongue. I try to focus on tonight's menu. The oven opens its mouth wide to welcome my dish, pan-seared colonialism, over-seasoned with justice, a fistful of a rainbow that I tried to catch with a net outside. I didn't have any more salt, so I threw in some tolerance and freedom and resilience. I hear another neighbor's heartbeat drifts by my window. It is a sanctuary to my eardrums, which have beaten for months in this quarantine. My heart has been quarantined and has lost perspective. I miss my own footsteps, which have been limited to my bedroom, the TV, and back to this kitchen and a life as a couch potato. I want to rebrand my footsteps, walk the narrow trail to that neighbor and join that conversation, gain new perspective, learn a new recipe. A burning smell wakes me out of my daydream as the warm winds waft a burning smell again. This time, my oven fumes. The sparks seem to keep fuming and sparking. I see more sparks. They seem to be, it seems that neocolonialism doesn't cook well. It doesn't acquiesce and tenderize to the justice and reform and the freedom and the tolerance. I move to the light switch. I keep hitting it, trying to fight the power. Okay, I like that one a lot. The fire alarm. The fire alarm screams at me as it's perched on its refuge in the top of the ceiling. The neighbors' voices are now totally drowned out by my wife, who's screaming at me to stop. Just stop trying to cook, which doesn't want to be served. The warm winds continue to blow, and I wait for the next conversation to waft my way.
What?
Yes.
What? You killed it,
And he
bro.
did all of that while
blown.
talking.
Mind blown. Mind blown.
What's that line about?
How?
You try to catch with outside with a
Mind
net.
blown.
Could you repeat that line of a rainbow?
I was just saying that I tried to see. I was still looking for more seasoning, so I use a net to catch a rainbow that's dangling hope from my balcony. I got a holy moly from Deborah, but I'm going to say that holy moly must be for everybody. There's no way I can read that poem again because I can barely read my own writing. Jaysus, you have something quickly to say before we close up?
The word is mind. The second word is blowing, okay?
Thank you. Thank you, Holly Butvin, who said 20 minutes. Yes, I was very impressed with everyone. Please leave us your comments. And we are now just wanting to thank you one more time for having us, Smithsonian Folklife Festival, the festival director, Sabrina,
yes.
Rebecca, Pablo, Michelle, and the whole team. So Sarah as well, thank you. And without further ado, we'll bring it back to Rebecca Fenton.
Hi, everyone. I'm back. Thank you so much. Thanks to our artists, Danabelle Gutierrez, Jaysus Zain, Anis, and Dorian Rogers of Rooftop Rhythms. And thanks to you, our audience, everyone who watched, listened, and participated. Now, we want you to follow these artists online. We want you to check out the next Rooftop Rhythms open mic on their Facebook page, right, Dorian?
That's correct.
And I urge all of you to please seek out and support the diverse artists and cultural spaces that exist wherever you live. In a few weeks, you can visit the festival blog over on our website to read the final versions of these poems that were birthed here today. And we hope to see you here on the Folklife Facebook page soon, because over the next 2 weeks, we have more than a dozen online events coming up for Beyond the Mall as we continue to bring people together to share ideas, food, music, and more. And that includes another poetry-related conversation tomorrow, a story circle titled The Poetry of Anger, Resistance, and Possibility. And finally, I'm going to thank our behind-the-scenes team. So let us all snap for Elisa Huff, Sarah Rothman, Ginny Maycock, Diane Nutting, Alex Taggart, Zaki Gould, Josue Castilleja, Jason Morris, Pablo Molinero Martinez, and Sabrina Lynn Motley for their production, promotion, and administrative efforts. Poets, it's been so fun. We'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.
Hopefully. Bye.
Goodbye.